Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. You know, after the whole Hasbro Wizards and, all the magic cards in the dump and all the noises and drama online, and then, of course, we had that other story come out right after with the Funko Pop story. So I'm going to give you a little backstory of my relationship and history with the Funko Pop brand and how I feel about it. So I do own a Funko Pop. I own one Funko Pop behind my graded currency. This particular Funko Pop was just a little Rudy from the football movie from the 90s, I think it was, that was sent to me. And instead of like number 69 or 99, they put 699 or something. And it was a gift. So that is the only Funko Pop that I own, next to my only Beanie Baby that I own. Obviously, a lot of the things in the background of these videos is very symbolic of the history of 7 years and the ebbs and flows and scandals and dramas and things that have come and gone over the years in this channel. Funko Pop brand and these Funko collectors and everything is a very, I've never really discussed it in the past because for the short answer, for those of you who just want to do the thumbs down thing and run away, I'm not a fan of Beanie Babies, Funko Pops. I've never really liked them. I never saw the desire of Beanie Babies when I was young, and I remember these things were really huge in the 90s. I was playing my Super Nintendo and Legend of Zelda and Metroid and, Mario Kart and everything, and Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore, and Chrono Trigger. That's where I was spending my days in the early 90s. And mid-90s? I don't know what year that was. I'm old, I know. But I remember the Beanie Babies becoming a thing. I remember at school there were other kids, male and female, and parents who I remember seeing these Beanie Baby things, and I remember thinking that I thought the tag had like some hidden story, or like there was a game to it, or I thought there was something really dramatic and secretive about this Beanie Baby revolution that went on. I never really understood it. So it kind of had an aura or a mystique around it because I didn't understand. I clearly wasn't informed, or I didn't know what everybody else was so excited about because they didn't do anything. There wasn't a utility. People didn't play with them. They didn't build a deck of Beanie Babies and swing Princess Diana against the elephant, and the elephant swung against the angel. I didn't really understand it. In an era where I was playing video games and magic cards, and in 98, 99 when Pokemon came out, and I begged my parents to swing by. We had it was like almost like a craft store in North Florida that was the only place that would get from a distributor one box of Pokemon, and they would sell individual packs of Pokemon, not $3 a pack. They'd mark them up to $5 a pack, and that's how I had to buy my one pack of Pokemon that I could afford. And I remember the Beanie Babies being a thing. I remember the big crash and the drama around it. I never really put much time into it. I never really thought much about it. Now, obviously, know that I'm old. I'm an old fart now. I'm 69 years old, and I've watched Beanie Baby documentaries, and I've seen this whole how they learned about the artificial scarcity. There were these warehouses with Beanie Babies they claimed were retired and missing, and they would just stock pallets hidden in a warehouse. They would destroy excess. There was all this shenanigans that went on. But again, they're just, to me, I don't mean to be, rude about it, but they were just little dolls to me. And I didn't quite understand the allure. So we fast forward to the last 5 to 10 years. I don't know how long Funko Pop's been a thing. And I think they're even publicly traded. Isn't there a Funko Pop stock? Are they owned by somebody? So this Funko brand, I remember when I first opened second store location that I did in 2016. And that particular store was the one that was a particular store that I did the filming of the Card Shop Life, of when I was opening it and starting it just to get it set up. And then I didn't expect YouTube to go viral and go crazy on here and all of a sudden become a tourist thing. And yeah, that was a disaster. But the point is, on that particular time, I remember some of the distributors contacting me, asking if I wanted to expand into the Funko Pop toy line. And I remember thinking, I guess the MSRP was $10 to $15, and stores would get them for $5 to $8 a store or something. I don't recall the details. But I didn't like it, and I kind of said, I'll pass, thank you for the offer. And I remember this particular distributor saying, Rudy, I know you were big into all the cards at the time. I was really big into, it was Magic, the Pokemon XY era. And that was the time I just did the deal for the, I think like 1,500 boxes of Pokemon Evolutions blister packs. And I got a special deal on them for like, I don't know, it was like $2 a pack. So it was like $72 a box for Pokemon Evolutions on the retail blister pack casing. And God, I wish I had kept some of those. If you're watching, Scott SM Pratt, I remember you bought multiple cases from me of that Pokemon sleeved XY Evolution that I was selling like pennies on the dollar. I remember, Scott. I remember those shipping labels. Anyways, the same distributor, after I did that deal, I did that huge Force Will deal. You guys remember that? Where I did a huge deal with all the retail MJ Holdings Force of Will product. And there's an old video you can, if you hit Alpha Investment Space MJ Holdings on YouTube, you'll find the hilarious video showing where I'm standing on this mountain of product. It's a great video. You should check it out. The video is like 6 years old now. But at the same time, I remember then the Funko Pop conversation came up. And I didn't understand, and I didn't like the idea of how much space the Funko Pop took up. Let me move my Arabian Nights pack. So let me move the Arabian Nights pack. And I remember these Funko Pops, and I remember thinking, these things take so much room up, and then people want them to be in mint condition. There's not as much, like in the Funko Pop world, the tolerance for the condition is a lot stricter. Like if a booster box shows up, and if I sell a case of, I don't know, Boulder's Gate, the worst thing ever. No, I sell a case of Dragon's Maze to a patron. And they get the case, and one corner of the case is dent, so there's a little dent on one of the corners of one of the boxes on Dragon's Maze. It doesn't really impact the value of the cards, it doesn't change anything, and for the most part, the market won't really adjust the price on something like that on the secondary market. Now, if it's really bad, where the wrapping is smashed in, there's a pack sticking out, and you can see the rare card, that's different. But apparently in the Funko Pop world, it's a really big deal, where if you have a damaged box, it's considered like unsellable. Yeah, so apparently it's a... So, I just, like, even looking at it, to me, they don't look very detailed, and I don't know, maybe the quality's okay, I guess? But I didn't like the idea that, like, the amount of space this would take up. And my cost of this would be, like, let's say $5, even math. Maybe it's more now, but this was years ago. So even if I put $5 in this, and I filled this entire room, my entire office was filled with these. To the floor, to the ceiling. Like, I feel like that would be like a couple $1,000s. Like, I didn't feel the space and the money involved was a good risk reward. And then I thought, okay, well, if you ship this for even parcel post or UPS ground or whatever, regular ground shipping, that's, $5 to $8 or something, that's, even if it doubles or triples in price, I just don't understand the economics behind it. So to me, this seems like a very good retail walk-in customer impulse buy from a kid and a mom, and the kid goes, oh, look, it's a character I like in a show that I don't care about in 12 months. And they buy it. I feel like that's how they move these type of products. Well, I remember hearing all this stuff about Funko Pops, about rare ones and retired Funko Pops that were disappearing and becoming more valuable, and you gotta hurry up and get them, And I never liked it. And I know this is a hot take, and it'll make a lot of people, piss people off, make you upset, but I view Funko Pops as the same thing as Beanie Babies. To me, a Funko Pop is the new rebranded version of Beanie Babies. I don't like them. I've never liked them. And I won't buy them. I even had about a year ago, no, maybe it's 2 years ago, post-COVID. It was around the 2021 era. Or 2020 when things were shutting. I remember a distributor offered me Funko Pops by the pallet. No joke. And I think it was like $2.75 or $3.25 shipped. It was like $3 or $2. I remember it was like high $2s, low $3s for a Funko Pop shipped. And I remember a pallet had some outrageous amount of, I don't even remember, 1,000 or 2,000. It's an outrageous amount of Funko Pops on it. And I remember thinking, like, what would I do with that? Do I want pallets lined up in my warehouse that are only worth like $1,000 a piece? Like, again, the space, the risk reward. And again, what do? Do I sell them for $8 and undercut the competition at $9? Like, I don't understand it. The economics are not attractive. Okay? The space is not attractive. And at the end of the day, I have no passion for it. I don't see the allure. It's not for me. To me, they look like cheap plastic, mass-produced, made in China figurines. And are they made in China? Before I bash that, are they actually made in China? Made in China. They are made in China. Okay. Yeah, so again, I know it's a hot take, and I know I even have patrons, and I even have friends in real life that do collect Funko Pops. I've been to family members and friends' houses that have a wall of all their characters or favorite show or whatever Funko Pops. I know it's a thing. And I know there are people out there that really love Funko Pops. And I mean no disrespect for it. It's just not for me. But if you're buying them because it's a certain series or a show or a character or a game you like, that's fine. You're just collecting and enjoying a hobby or a toy. But if you're looking at Funko Pops as like the next investment thing, I have an issue with that. And I know it's coming from the guy who sells you Magics and Pokemons and Whites and Flesh and Bloods and MetaZoos and eventually One Piece and Sorcery. And yeah, it's coming from a guy who sells cardboard. I get it. But it's just not for me. And now we have the news of now there's so much excess Funko Pops because clearly upper management once again was stupid and they didn't adjust post 2020. I warned everybody, if you do not cut your print runs, I made 5 to 7 videos at the end of 2021 begging every company from Magic to MetaZoo to Flesh and Blood to toy companies to Papa Hasbro to cut the damn print runs. I screeched, I yelled on this channel for months about cutting print runs because all these morons at the top of these ivory tower, idiotic corporate morons were just so inundated with 2021 data and everything was going to the moon. They were using that data as an excuse to overprint everything into 2022. And I warned and I warned and I yelled to the sky. Old man yells at sky. And unfortunately, the Funko brand, in my opinion, did not listen the way they should have. In addition, they overdid certain other IPs and brands they thought would be more popular. In addition to different pricing and logistics and delays, they just got tangled into a spider web of problems. And now, well, they are destroying tons of product that has no value. And in my opinion, I never really thought they had much value. So to me, I don't really care that much. You know, there's a lot more important conversations we can have about Legos. We need to talk about Lego, the brand, and the Rudy Lego collection, and all the Legos and everything going on. I want to have more conversations about like the graded video game thing. I don't have any WATA games, but I have a couple VGA that I bought in 2018-19 for a couple $100. And you know, there's a lot bigger conversations that are intriguing. The video game world of vintage video game and retro games does have value. Not the artificial, insane $1 million Mario game WATA crap value. But those do have, in my opinion, cultural and historical relevance of actual value, especially unopened with the HCM on the back of NES games. There is value there. I don't see value in a tiny plastic, made in China, modern day toy that is Beanie Babies 2.0. I mean, I know it's going to piss people off, but it's not for me. I don't care for it. And I still think I think it's a cute little toy for kids or something, or to collect your favorite television show or video game, and that's all it is. I don't see any long-term value. I don't see anything special. I am aware there are some Funko Pops that have a lot of value. There's a couple really rare ones worth some big money, and that's great. Some people made some great money on it. That's awesome to hear. Good for you guys. But again, for me, it's like a Magic 30 thing. In my opinion, yes, long-term, Magic 30 will go up in price. But again, it's just not for me. I'm not saying that if some Funko Pops aren't going to continue to go up, they probably will. Just like every other industry, 99% will be almost worthless, but a 1% very rare sliver of those items will become valuable. And, you know, I look at all this stuff, and again, I'd rather buy a $10,000, $20,000, you know, graded gold certificate or something, you know, of a large U.S. Federal Reserve note, you know, for 10, 20 grand. Versus 10 to 20 pallets of made in China plastic. That's kind of my perspective on it. Or, you know, a graded video game if the prices ever go back to normal, or a brick of silver, or sealed packets of Beta or Arabian Nights. There's other things. There's a lot of choices in this world, and I just never trusted the management of Funko. I don't believe they possess very quick reactionary decision-making behavior to navigate the fast-moving marketplace. And I think what we've seen with the Funko now, there's rumors that they're destroying hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Funko Pops. Because I guess if each pallet of Funko Pops is like 1,000 or 2,000, yeah, I guess that would be like, it'd be easy to destroy hundreds of thousands because each pallet's so many. That'd only be like 50 to 100 pallets. But there's rumors that it's an insane amount. And again, I don't blame the Funko brand because I don't like it. I blame, once again, just like Papa Hasbro and the CEO of Wizards of the Coast, Cynthia Williams and Chris Cox, these people at the top did not make good forecasting, and they did not guide the ship and manage the company, and they did not evolve as the market evolved and shifted on them. They were late to react, and the big money they get paid. Remember, the people at the top make a lot of money because they are paid to make very important decisions. That is the purpose of their positions. And when they don't do that, in my opinion, they no longer have a purpose. I'm not saying you got to get it perfect, but again, when you see set after set in Magic dropping or overprinted from last year, and you don't make fast decisions, and you're just, well, we'll see what happens. Let's give it another year or another quarter. They don't deserve that job. And obviously, whoever's at the top, somebody at Funko screwed up. Somebody was not willing to change. Somebody refused to look at the data, and somebody deserves to lose their job. And once again, many times with these collectibles and pop culture items, I'm more of a belief, not in the item itself, but I want to know the management and direction. That's one of the reasons why there's certain CCGs that, I do like the brands and I do like some of the, the items, but some of the management of certain companies are just so bad at what they do. You can't be a part of it. I've always wanted to expand to Yu-Gi-Oh, but the management of Konami and these companies and these executives that move around and in the way the sealed product ages of Yu-Gi-Oh, I can't be a part of Yu-Gi. The risk of the way they navigate and the way they print, too many sealed boxes just collapse, and it's just too dangerous for someone like me. So that's all I have today. I hope you guys learned something. That is my one and only video you'll ever see on this channel about Funko Pops, and my one and only kind of closing statement to you all is only buy Funko Pops in the Funko brand if you enjoy it and it's a fun collectible and a toy. Do not put a lot of money into something like that. To me, it is a reshelled, reskinned version of Beanie Babies from modern era. And I mean, they're already cheap. I don't know if there's really room for them to fall. I mean, most of them are already cheap, but it is what it is. I don't think anyone should be that surprised. I wonder if Taco Bell has any coupons today.